This is my full guide to help you to become a pro in hot surface modeling. I'm damn sure that after you finishing this program, you'll literally be able to model anything you want. Not only that, you'll also learn how to design better. Plus, get a basic understanding of rigging and animation for hot surface models. So today, we are going to design this sci-fi door you're seeing on the screen. Sounds exciting, right? Yeah, let's fucking do this. So, this is the reference I gathered. It's a complex sci-fi door. I got the front and back images. Now, when you look at the design, it's so confusing. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. So, how can we simplify the design? I'll teach you. So, I'm using the paint tool to draw the sketch. You can use any software you like. Now, we need to draw the main shape. For example, this is a rectangle. I'm gonna pick the red color and draw a nice rectangle covering the door. Alright, next, let me see if there's all cylinders. Oh, no. So I picked a curved rectangle with a different color. So this shape would be a cylinder. And also the other side. And for the bottom. And as well as the other side. Next, let me pick the yellow just to differentiate the part. So this is another cylinder with a small size, but it's too long. You don't have to draw all side. I'm just doing this to explain. So these are all simple cylinders. And next, you got a connection here. So let me pick the green color. And this is also cylinder like we draw in this position. And it's go for all four sides. Next, we have a thin shape. So you can do this with a plane or a cube. Just use extrude to bring the shape. So I'm drawing a simple lines. And the same goes for the bottom. Now finally, we have one more connection. So I pick the blue color and draw a simple square, which is a cube in 3D. And then draw a cylinder on this front. Now lastly, we have a big frame at the back. So I'm going to draw a big square. So these shapes help us to block out the design without any confusion. Now we completed the front image. Let's do the same for the back view. So here we can draw a simple rectangle, which is the same one we did for the front. And then we got a simple cubes. So it's a cube and another one at the bottom. And that's almost done. Or maybe not. So here we have a connection. So it's going to be a cylinder. So we draw 2 cylinders. Then we got a pipe and we can simply extrude the vertices to build the shape. So I'm just drawing some lines to simplify. So that's pretty much it. We sketched the base shape of our reference. You can save the image if you want. Well, you have to. So next is to make with the 3D shapes. Let's open Blender. I am not going to care about the proportions. My goal is to bring out the design and the mechanism. But if you want the exact dimension, you can bring the image and align it with the height and width. So I will leave the link to download the image in the description. So if you want the image, you can just go to the link and download it, then load it in your Blender. So let's open the side view and start scaling this up. Then reduce the thickness to make it not too wide and scale the height. That's the simple shape. Now duplicate the piece and push it back. We can scale it taller and also scale this on the Y. Then we can move it back a bit. Next, I'm going to add a cube and reduce the height, make it thinner, and then we can lift this up and scale this wider to this level. I'm going to pull it down until it's intersect with the top piece, like that. And then we simply mirror this to the bottom by selecting the cube, press Alt+X and mirror it. By the way, if you want to design better and improve your workflow, check out my gun design course, where you learn the complex detailing as well as how to add texture and decals to stand out like a concept artist. The link in the description, so grab it if you're interested. Let's get back. Next, I'm going to add a cylinder and scale this down. Then we can move it up right here, and then in the side view, by the way, I'm just messed up the view, so it's actually front view, but my model is facing in the side. Anyway, I'm sliding this to the right like that. Then we mirror this to the opposite side and also to the bottom. So select the cylinder and this cube, then mirror this to the Z. Alright. Now I'm going to duplicate the cylinder and scale this down. Let's bring this down and scale this on the Z. And move it a little like this. And also scale it on the Z like that. Yeah, seems like everything is working well. Let's actually make the back looks dense. So in face mode, I'm select this face and pull it back this much. Then we can make a small move, right? That's better. Then I'm selecting this thin plate and moving it to the back. Let's actually reduce the scale on the Y, or yeah, not much like this. And I'm going to bring this closer like that. Next, what we can do. Alright, let's see if we can. Let me actually take a look at my reference. Got it. So I'm going to move this piece to back and then increase the thickness. I don't know how it's actually connected, so let's undo and bring this forward and scale this from here. Think we need a more thickness. Yeah, it's enough. We could extend the length. Yeah, I did some rough shape. So yeah, we can save the file. We can start making the actual door. So duplicate this cube and scale it small on the X. Then on Z. And finally on Y. So that's where the door starts to open and close. We can scale this down. Next, I'm going to select the cylinder and select this face, push it up. Then I'm duplicating the cylinder and bring it down, reducing the length to be very short. And then I'm going to scale it overall and make it short. Let's move this somewhere here and apply auto smooth. Also apply it to all these cylinders. Now I'm selecting the cylinder and pulling it up to this level. And I'm moving this one up. Then duplicate it and bring it to the very bottom. Well, that's not exactly what I want. But since it's a blockout, we can be okay with this. Now let's start building the missing connection. So I'm adding a cube and moving it to the side, scale it smaller, and also make it thinner. And I think we got a different types of mechanism here, so let's start. Alright, select this and duplicate it. I'm going to remove the mirror. Well, we'll keep this one. Now we can scale it up, make it smaller, and extend the length. Then position it somewhere in the middle and scale it up. Let's fix the position. There we go. Now let's mirror this new voice. Oops. Let me select this and mirror. Almost fucked up. Now I'm going to fix the cylinder placement like this. Then we can drop the thickness lower. And yeah, we are good to go. That's the basic shape. Now we start blocking out the mechanism. But before that, I'm going to scale the cylinder down just a bit and scale the cylinder as well. Let's extend the length and bring it down. With both cylinders selected, I'm going to move this in, so it's actually going to lock the door. For that, we need to extend the door, so that's what keeps it locked. Next, duplicate this one and scaling it down and moving it here. Now enable the X-ray and fix the placement just in the middle of the cylinder. I think we need to fix the scale first, so I'm selecting these two cylinders and moving them to the side. That's give them some nice space to fit the cylinder. Now I'm adjusting the position, and also we could extend the length. So I'm selecting this face. Oh, it's already selected. Good. Now enable the X-ray and bring this face down. Now we can duplicate this, the cylinder, and bring it down just to connect with the other cylinder. I think we could slightly reduce the size like that. Great. Let me take a look at my reference. Yeah, I think the door frame looks taller in the reference, so we could scale it to this height. And we need to fix the overlap also. So I'm making it smaller and fitting into the same place, just to make sure that the placement is at the center. Now this could be thinner, just a little. I think we made some huge mistake at the back, so instead of adding a new mesh, we can simply use of the existing one. So we choose the top piece and in face mode, select this end, then extrude it a bit. Then grab the bottom face, but before that, we need to enable the clipping in the mirror. So that way, when we extrude, both faces connected without any overlap. I think this could be a better way, because when we rig, it looks more natural, like the movement. The only problem right now could be the size. So select all these faces, then press GY and move it to the right. And now we can apply the mirror, and that's my boy. Next, we can also move this face a bit. It's too popping out. Let's testing the rigging. So select all these pieces and move them up. Yeah, everything is working fine. But I guess it could be better if we fix some selections. So in face mode, let's first turn off the mirror and then grab the bottom face and pull it up just a bit. Now we can see how it works. Okay, that's good. Let's run a simple test. So it's moving up and then closing. Everything looks good. Now the front is actually misaligned. So we move the cylinder to the back. Let's take a look at the blockout. Good. Let's actually increase the thickness of the back. Then we add a new cube and scale it down. Then we go for the back view and move this cube to the right side. Bring this forward and make this thinner. Put it inside this gap. And I'm going to increase the scale, make it a more extended, so that way when the top section moves, it won't look like it's floating. Then you can mirror this to the left and extend the length even more. Next, we grab this cube, duplicate it and push it back. Let's see what we can do with it. I'm scale this on the X like that, and we need to fix the overlap. Move this face up. Then we can position this closer to this mesh. I suspect that it's not placed correctly, but let's see where it goes. Let's start by fixing the connections, so we can scale this down and bring this closer to the door. And also I'm going to enable the X-ray to see if I place correctly, and it's not, so move it precisely down and we move the small connection up. That's good. Let me check if it's working fine. Good. So we can work with it. Alright, let's start building the door so that they can open and close. For that, I'm selecting this mesh and going to the face mode. Let's grab the side face and make it half size. Just snap into the origin point. Now we can select this with shift and mirror it. So when we move this, it opens and closes like a door. Let's select all these pieces and then let's start by moving them. Yup, it works good with a shitty connection. We'll fix that. Now we need to display the behind door. So I'm duplicate the door and bring it forward. Remove the mirror and fit it in the center. Let's extend the size on the Y and position it to the middle. We could extend it even further to make the corner feel really thin. Now I'm going to scale this on the X to deepen the cut. Now select the both mesh and run a difference boolean. Alright, let's move this cutter to a new collection called cutter. So let's test it out. So you can see the movement, but it looks like we stuffed some block inside. So we need to clear that out. So I'm going to enable the cutter, then extruding the length. Whatever is blocking the view, we smash it. I mean, we subtract the mesh. Like, okay, we perform a difference boolean. Clear? Now this plate on the top is messing with the view. We can pull it up just so it doesn't affect the opening. And I'm going to keep running the test to check if any issues, but I don't really notice any big issues right now. So let's enable the clipping in the mirror so it closes properly. And I see that here we still have some block. So what we can do, yeah, it's just because of it's misaligned. I am simply moving this to the side. And for some security, I'm scaling it slightly down. Again, let's see. I'm closing this door and open. Good. But why the fuck it's sealing fully? So we move this one door to the side so that we can see the split. Yeah, that looks like a door. Front, back, everything looks great. Alright, let's start building the connection for the back. So on this part, I'm going to place my cursor to the origin point and add a cylinder. We scale this all the way down and flip the mesh and reduce the size a bit. Then push it inside like that. Then move this up. Next, we duplicate it and bring it down. Then we bring both of this forward and lastly apply auto smooth. Next, we duplicate this and make this smaller. Then push them forward. We can actually remove this one. Yeah, we scale this down the size. And also we can scale this on the X. Let's actually extend it even more. So this is going to act like a pump. So basically it's going to push the front piece forward and backward. Then duplicate and bring it to the other cylinder. Now we need to connect this to the cube. So I'm simply duplicate this and rotating on the 90 degree and also 90 on X. Then we can position to the pump. We could extend the cube size, then move it slowly back. Now I'm pushing the cylinder back and also this one. And finally this one. Next, I'm going to scale this on the Y Or actually, let's do this. Go to the top view, enable the X-ray, then we move this here and center this. Let's kill this envoy. I know I'm doing something silly, but just experimenting. I think this could be a connector of the cube and cylinder. Now we duplicate it and move it down. Now it fixed the floating. I'm simply duplicating this cube and moving it in between them, making it nice and small. Then scale this like this. And yeah, we need to place this in middle. Let me move it and scale it a bit. Bring it back to the middle, and that kind of makes sense. So we can move the cylinder inside. I'm going to duplicate and bring it down. Now let me show you how this mechanism works. So I'm going to grab all these pieces and including this cube, then moving them back like this. It's kind of unlocking the movement for the door. So when it moves, the door starts to come out. Right now it's a bit messy and we'll fix that in the next step, but that's how it works. Now I'm grabbing this part and I think we can actually box select this and push them forward. I think maybe. And this cube could be go forward. This is how the door opens and it's currently have a few obstacles. So I select or box select and then deselect this and move this closer. So this is how it moves. Oh, it actually moved inside. Let me move it back and bring it a bit forward and scale it a touch. And this cylinder on the front, maybe it's not right. So we push it forward like this. And now I'm quickly selecting all the parts just to test the rig. So we can delete this and mirror this over. And then we move this down, then delete this mess. Then also we need to move this place to the middle. Let's actually save the file. Now I'm going to parent this object. So by moving this parent object, the child will follow. I'm selecting all the top pieces. By the way, we don't want to do this right now. I'm doing this for testing. So we'll do the simple parent and the rigging in the last part. So just don't do this. I just want you to know how it works. And lastly, we select this top one, then press Ctrl+P and choose Object to Transform. So you can see that the line started to pointing the parent. So now when I move the single piece, the rest will follow. So this is how the parent and child relationship works. And we finally control this everything with a empty, and I'll show you how in the final part. And for now, this is how it works. Now we can do the parenting for the back connections. So I'm selecting the small cylinders, then select this 2 cylinder, and finally this cube as a last selection, and then parent them. So when I move this cube, it looks like it's unlocking. Now for the front, we can do some small adjustment. So I'll scale down the both objects and scale it only on the Z, then bring them closer. Seems like it's not placed in the middle, so I'm pushing it up, and we can scale the cylinder just a bit. Let's tweak the position like that. Now parent this object, right? So when I rotate this, it unlocks the front connection. So when the front is unlocked, the back is unlocked. So let me see how the door opens. It's open this way and we did some mistake. Probably we can figure that out in a few minutes. And I think the back connection is unlocked. So I guess we can bring this forward. Not too much, just very small. And something about this level. Now this piece gets rotated this way and the door opens. So we can select all these pieces and parent them to the door. So when we move it, we don't get any overlap. And it almost looks like functional and everything looks good without any problem. So we are safe. Also, I'm going to close the top section. And then we set the back connection. And finally, we reset the front lock. Now we are ready to refine the blockout. So enable the cutter and go to the edge mode. Select these two edges and run a nice chamfer. And now we can mirror this to the other side. Oops. Let's see. Yeah. Set the origin to center and mirror. Still wrong. Let's undo and set the origin to the center of mass. Now we can mirror. Finally. Next, we could start building some details. So I'll isolate the door. We could select these both edges and make a chamfer. Now we could add a bevel modifier to make a highlight. The amount would be something lower. And then increase the segments to about 3. And finally apply auto smooth. Oh, we could add a very normal like this. Yep, that usually fixes the problem. Mostly bevel and very normals are a good pair. Anyway, let's start building some patterns. So go to the face mode and insert the face. A small one, then extrude it inside. Don't go too deep or else the shading looks very dark. Then one more insert and a nice space for this time. Then we could add a loop cut and bevel it. Now add another loop cut the same side and bevel it, just about this size. Now grab this middle edge, then push it to the left. So that builds up a nice shape. Now we select this inner face, we insert it a bit small. Now grab the face loop and I'm going to extrude this out. Next we do one more insert and extrusion. Then again insert and lastly extrude it inward. So that's our simple detail for the door. And I think we could add some separation like horizontally. So using the n-gon, I'm going to draw a straight line, just a third the size of the door. Then fill the shape and press X for slice and press V for array. Set the direction to Z and place it in the bottom half. And once it looks good, press enter to confirm. That looks even more polished. Let's see. Yeah, they're actually very good. We could also refine the frame, but first we need to fix the mechanism. So I'll bring the cylinders down, and I also think it's so big, so make it small. There is something off with the design. Can't really figure out what the problem is. Maybe the door frame. So I'm gonna pull this face forward. Then the hydraulic, the top lock, is actually need to be connected to the door at the very front. So we select them and push it forward where some are far from the door. Then this frame needs to be wider. So I'll select the side face and extrude the width. Probably the full top is locked inside. Now using the N-gon, I'm drawing a cross line following the door angle and pull it up. Cover the model and cut it off. Then simply run a mirror and also to the bottom. Now select the cylinder, but before that we move this into a new collection called main door, and now we can hide it. Yeah, now I'm gonna grab these all parts, and now we can enable the collection, and we push it a bit. Then the cylinder, it could be lower, so actually we don't even need it. And I'm pulling the stop. Then we go to the face mode and pull this face back a little. Next, I set the cutter to box, and over the stop I'm gonna make a small cut about this size and carefully push it in. Not fully deep, just about a medium level, and cut it. Oh, by the way, it's actually went deep, so we can move this cutter forward to about this much and move this cutter to collection, and we simply hide it. I noticed that the cutter leaves a sharp corners, so we re-enable that and scale the size on Z. Just up a little. That's perfect. And then we run a mirror on the other side. Let's hide the cutter. Now that I've got some view on how to build the mechanism, so let's connect the cylinder to the top section. I'm selecting this both cylinder on the side view and duplicate and move to the front cylinder. Make this one smaller and place it in the middle. This one goes down and this one goes up. Just make sure they are placed in the even position. You select the both and we move closer somewhere here. And let's see, go to the top view, enable the X-ray, and let me see, we moved here. Then let's duplicate the cylinders and bring it to the top cylinder position, and we need to push this back just a middle. Yeah, like that. Now we need to connect all these three cylinders. So with this selected, I'm going to select the top and bottom faces. Then we extrude them along the normal. Let's grab this top and the bottom face loop, extrude out. Then we could select this top and this bottom and scale them on the Z. Now let's introduce a loop cut in the middle and bevel it to this size. Make sure it's even. Then select a few faces on the side and I'm going to extrude this out. And I'm moving the cylinder to the front cylinder. And that's a simple connection. To make it mechanical, I'm adding a loop cut, then bevel it half size and extrude them inside. And scale it down just to make the definition more clear. And we could also add a bevel modifier, so That's what brings the shadow and contrast to the design. That instantly makes a lot of improvement. Now we delete this blockout and duplicate this top and bring it down. Just leave a macro gap between each other. Now we can start fixing the position. So make sure they are placed evenly. But still this entire piece is floating. So we need to connect them to the door. So in face mode, select a few faces on the side and simply extrude them out. I know it's an amateur way of connection, but we don't want to be fully engineered. What matters is, does it look virtually functional and doesn't affect our rigging? That's all I want. Now let's start refining this one. So like usual, we chamfer both sides and make a really nice chamfer. Then grab these faces again and we make a insert and extrude them inside. Also finish with a small scale. Next, we refine this other side. So we run a small chamfer. I want to select the both faces and make a nice chamfer for the outline. Now, I would like to add some small detail. So we add a loop cut and bevel to the size. Then we grab these two edge loops and make a tiny bevel on them. Next, extrude them inside. And to polish the design, we add a bevel and do the same old boring adjustment. Next, we need to connect them all. Nothing strange. Just the same method we used to connect with the door. So I'm going to pick the faces here. Then extrude them out. And move it inside the cylinder. Even if this might be really simple, it works. Especially when we do animation. Here I fix the position, so just center this. And we could delete this bottom one, also this two, and duplicate this new boys. We bring this to the same position and make sure that it sits evenly without any misalignment. If it is, be patient and adjust them. So when you look at the connection, it looks really mechanical, isn't it? So let's actually create an unlocking design. So we don't want the cylinder to be fully covered. So I'm going to cut a few parts using the box cutter. I'm making a cut over here. And we apply some bevel and cut it off. And apply the auto smooth. So now when I rotate this on the Z, the top cylinder gets unleashed. I think we need to add a wider normal so that way the shading looks clean. Then we copy the modifier to the top cylinder. That's it. Now we can add some detail to the cylinder, which currently looks very static. So in face mode, I'm grabbing this face and first we perform an insert and then extrude them along the normal. Then we could scale down a little. That looks pretty much refined. Now we can delete this old one and replace it with the new one we created. Maybe we need to tweak the position. There we go. Now we can simply remove all the parent because if we don't, when we rotate it, it's kinda act weird. So let me select all, then press Alt P and remove the parent. Now it's working fine. Shift select the cylinder and apply the parent. So when I rotate this, it looks like the lock is open. We need to fix the rotation, but that's how it works. I'm holding the shift and select the main connection and apply the object transform. So now we get the full animation. And while it's rotating, we see the end of the connection. So to prevent it, I'm going to move this face to the inside. And move it back a little. Just like that. And let me actually see the full geometry. So let me see. this is how it works. It went inside. And this level of rotation is good. Now we can fix the intersection. So I'm simply rotate this on the Z. So that way it doesn't collide with the top cylinder. It's still overlapping. We have to do something about that. How about we reduce the thickness of the top cylinder? Now let's see. Yeah, it's much better than before. Let me check if everything works fine. Yeah. This back position needs some adjustment. So we push it forward a bit. Or maybe not. Let's actually move the geometry to the inside. Yeah. I guess it wouldn't bring any issue when we rotate it. Yeah, that's actually going. Now delete this bottom connection and replace it with a new one. Let me rotate both connections to see if everything is working like perfect. Let's start building the front lock, but before that it is important to replace the old one. So we smart apply, and that way we don't lose the cut, and then we duplicate this and bring it down. So that's actually complete the side locks. Now let's start working on the front lock. So first I'm going to add a cylinder. Make this small. Then scale this on the Z and place it to the center. Now I'm going to bring this cube forward somewhere here. Then I'm going to scale down the cube to the size and push it to the up. Let me adjust the scale. Good. Now we need to bring this cube to the side so that it looks like a locker. Now I'm going to work on the shape. So let's move on to the face mode and let's move this face to the left to the same size as the back mesh. Now we need to make this functional. So I'm going to duplicate the cylinder and scale it a touch. Then we increase the height just a bit, then run a difference boolean. So now we got a small space for the cylinder to move. Let's move the cutter and simply hide it. Now apply the scale for the cylinder and go to the face mode. Grab the top and the bottom faces and make a tiny chamfer. Next, place the cursor here and add a cube. Scale this very small. It's just a small piece that is going to hold the cylinder. Let's scale the size on the X and push it back. Also, we could move it aside. Now apply auto smooth and simply mirror these pieces to the bottom. It's not actually placed correct, so first we need to set the origin to center and we can run a mirror. Also apply the auto smooth for a good finish. Now in edge mode, I'm going to add a loop cut, then make a bevel. Now grab the top and the bottom edge loop, make a tiny chamfer, make a tiny bevel. Yeah, it's chamfer anyway. And then extrude it inside. Also, it is better to apply the bevel modifier to polish the design. Nothing suspicious. Next, we refine the cube. So let's add a loop cut and slide it back. Now select this face and simply extrude all the way. Just keep a small distance so it won't overlap. I think that the placement was not in the middle, so I'm going to grab all these spots and move it down to the middle of the placement. And then we move this cutter as well, so just be very careful while moving this because you need to be really careful about the spacing. Now it feels better. Let's actually mirror the cylinder to the right, and next we can start refining the blocky shape. So first I'm going to run a chamfer on this edge. Yeah, we need to be really sure about applying the scale first, and now we can start performing a bevel instead. That's a good one. Let's try to do something on the front. So I'm going to run a cut over to this bottom. Just dip the cut to get a nice contrast, and also apply some bevel to the corner and cut it. So that prevents the generic connection. Next, on the top right, I'm going to run a small rectangle cut. Also apply mirror for symmetry. Next up, I'm heading to the edge mode and add a loop cut. We push it up here, just somewhere about this line. Then we run a tiny chamfer and extrude this inside. As always, we apply bevel to make the extrusion be highlighted. Next, on the same side, I'm going to add a cube, and we make this something like a switch. So scale it to very small and position to center. Then extend the length and fix the position. Now I'm going to make this really thin and also give it some rotation on the Z. Something like this. So now we need to place this in the right position. So I'm moving this to the left so it won't pop out. Then place it somewhere in the chamfer area. So it's still not reached. So hold the shift and slowly move it. Something like this. Let's refine the shape. I'm gonna grab these two edges and apply a bevel. Oops, I made the same mistake. So we apply the scale and then we run a nice bevel. Now apply auto smooth for polish, and now I'm gonna mirror this over. That's a nice small detail. And this edge is kinda really sharp, so I'm going to make a bevel of it. And let's see what else we can do. Maybe we can start refining the back. Yeah, this is the time. So first, I'm going to run a cut over here so that it looks like it's a part of the front lock. Draw a shape that's an inch bigger than the front piece. So only the front lock is rotated, the back going to work. And you people are really confused about what I'm talking about, but later you will understand all the reasons behind it. Now we need to extrude these back faces. So select all, and we can even pull the geometry. So that feels like a connected. Now I'm going to refine the back. So apply the boolean and wait, did we did something wrong? How it actually going to open the door? I'm damn stupid. So now I'm going to enable the cutter. Good. And I'm moving this forward about this close and hide it. Now the front lock would be go inside like that. And let me actually analyze the animation. So the front is rotated and the back is moved and scales. The door opens. Let's test it. So this is going to be rotated. So yeah, we reduce the length. Oh, it's actually leaving some edges. So instead, we can simply cut out the extra piece. So using box cutter, I'm going to draw a rectangle and cut it off. And it went too much, so I'm going to pull the cutter until the door ends, like at the door corner. Yeah. Now we can expand the size by pulling the face forward. Better. Hide this cutter. Actually, we lessen the depth. So I'm pulling the cutter forward like this, and that looks like more connected. Yeah, we build the proper connection. Let's save the file. Next up, we can select these connections and duplicate, then bring it to the bottom connection. Next, we select the door and mirror it over. Next, let's see. So how about we make some cut here? So I'm going to draw a straight line, cross it to the back and up here and cut it. Next, this door currently looks fake, so I'm going to make a cut. So from the side, I'm going to draw a rectangle covering the entire door and cut it. Yeah, it's fucking messed up, so let's enable the cutter. So we need to fix the rotation, and I'm going to rotate this on the X just to make it straight. And now we can move this up to place it at center. Just make it straight so that it won't look deformed. Then pull it up, then carefully align with the cutter. I think we can move this down like this. Yeah, perfect. Let's check if all the sides are placed correct, so that way we don't bring any issues in the future. Yeah, now we can hide the cutter. And you can see that it looks more natural, like realistic, and it kind of makes sense, like the door can open and close without anything that blocks it. Simple. Now we can refine the top cylinder. So I'm going to add a loop cut and slide it up. Then select these faces, then extrude them inward. Now we can clean this up. So it's just a mess. So delete the face and also delete this unwanted face loop. Now then press select all, then press F to fill it. And yeah, we can actually find the cutter. So we can actually find all the cutter by holding the Alt and H and then select this one. And I'm going to move this a bit to the side, just so it won't intersect with any mesh. Let's hide the cutter. Alright, now let's start adding detail to the door frame. So first, let's set the cursor to the origin point and then add a cube. Move it up here, scale it small and make it thin, and position here. I'm going to extend the length to about this size. Then we scale it down on the X. Bring this out and reduce the size. Let's bring it out even further. And I think we could scale it a bit. Yeah, the proportion is right. Now apply the scale and enter edge mode. Grab these two edges and make a chamfer. And I guess this is how the reference looks like. Yeah, I'm right. Now we can duplicate this cube and bring it down. Make this one smaller and increase the height. It's not connected, so I'm gonna push this inside. Let's just push it a bit down. Now enter face mode, and I'm going to insert the face, and I'm gonna extrude it inside. Now in object mode, I'm grabbing the both mesh and run a union boolean. Now go back to the edge mode. Grab this two edges and make a bevel. Then mirror this to the other side and apply auto smooth for a polished look. Now back in edge mode, select all the surrounding edges and let's perform a bevel. So that way it looks like a good transition between the two mesh. And of course, when we do this, the shading will occur. So the best way to fix it, and I hope you know that, it's very normal. Just add it and enable the keep shop. Beautiful. So now we can mirror all the changes to the bottom. Also this piece. Good. Now select the store and enter edge mode. Select this one as well as the bottom two. Then we make a small chamfer, which gives a nice highlight and prevent the blade sharpness. We almost got a solid detail for the front. Now let's start detailing the back. So from the top, I'm going to draw a rectangle, then extrude all the way and simply cut it. Coming out good, but it's actually went too deep. So I'm gonna enable the cutter and push it a little back. Now let me actually run a chamfer on this side to avoid the static look. Next, let's multiply, and I'm going to select this one and slide to side, but we got some issue. So let's select all these edges and mark them as sharp. Then we select this one and mark it sharp. Now this one in the middle, we can chamfer this edge. So grab this two and run a small chamfer. And also this front, we could grab all these edges, just make a even chamfer. Alright, now we can start refining the back connection. So I'm going to select the cylinder and let's grab this face and we can apply the bevel. Sure, we need to apply the scale first. There we go. Now let's run a chamfer. Just about this size, or maybe small. Next, add a loop cut. Slide this to the right, and then we bevel it and extrude them out. Something pretty extended. And I guess it's the perfect size. Now I'm going to grab this both edges and apply chamfer. And we can refine the other side. So let's simply apply a chamfer. That's it. Now delete this bottom one and replace it with the top cylinder we created. Moving this top one a bit. And this one just a bit. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now we can start refining this big cube. So let me grab these two edges and we can make a chamfer just about this size. Then we mirror this on the Z. Now we could take it a step further. So from the top view, I'm going to choose N-gon and draw across, then bring it forward and fill the shape and cut it. Now we can smooth out the surface to bring that metallic feel. So before that, I'm going to move this cutter slightly back so it won't look too deep. Good. Next, on the back, we could do some small detail. Let's draw a box, push it in, and apply bevel, and cut it. Now on the same spot, I'm going to place my cursor and add a cube. Make this small. Then scale it to the cutter size. Let's place it in the middle like that and extend the height. Move it a bit inside. And then apply the scale. Now select this edge and make a chamfer. Now let's mirror this piece to the other side. And also we smart apply to mirror the boolean. Next, on the cube, I'm placing my cursor and add a cylinder. We reduce the size and then pull it up like this. then move this inside and push it back. Now we shrink the height, then mirror this to the bottom. So I hope you guess what we built. Yes, the pipe. So merge the vertices to the middle. Now extrude this up, switch to the side view and move this straight. Then pull it down and we try different position. So move this forward and move this vertex to left. And finally extrude it down. Now to copy to bottom, we simply apply the mirror. Now in the vertex mode, select all and then run a vertex bevel to curve the corners. Just a nice smooth lines. Now let's convert this into a curve. And now in the curve property, let me just increase the depth to give some nice thickness. Now to make it even smoother, we could apply the subdivision surface. So let me add it and the value to about 2. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now let's mirror this pipe to the other side. That almost done. Now let's see. Yeah, we can define this back portion. So we select this face and apply a small chamfer. And then I'm going to increase the cylinder size, so it's going to give that comes out look. So we don't want to reveal any break. So everything was pretty decent except the top. So let's go into the edge mode and I'm going to add a loop cut, then slide it back. And I think it's too extended, so let me first move this face to back, then grab the side face, and then extruding on the Y, then move this down, and also we can give some rotation on the face to make it facing down, and then finally we extrude it on the Z, then reset the scale, and now we can mirror this to the other side. Okay, that's actually good. Now here I'm going to add a loop cut and we pull this up so that we get a curved low poly surface. Next, let's grab this bottom face and I'm moving this here and we need to fix the size. So let's grab this edge loop and move to get the even thickness, and also we can rotate it. That could be the best move. Now select this face and move it up a little. And I'm extruding it out, so that gives us the shape in the reference. And I'm also going to fix the edge loop to make the surface more natural. That's pretty good. Now let's start making it smooth. So I'm going to grab this 3 edge loop and applying a nice bevel, so that makes it a more refined and curved. Now let's make the shape more interesting. So go to the top view and I'm going to make some random cut. We draw across, make it straight line, and then match the angle and cut it. Now we could refine these edges, so I'm going to enable the cutter and then select it. Then I'm grabbing these 2 edges and apply a bevel. Let's see. Yeah, it went deep, so I'm going to move this cutter slightly forward, just about this much. And now we can smart apply and then start refining the sharp edges. So let me just make a small bevel. Yeah, that looks like a more heavy metal finish. Alright, we have to mirror this connection to the other side, so there we go. Let's see what we can do. Got it. Let's refine the back. So let's go into the edge mode. I'm going to select these 2 edges and apply some chamfer. Yeah, sure, we need to apply the scale first and make a chamfer. Alright. I don't want this to too detailed, so let's actually finish it with a small chamfer. So grab the both bottom and top face and apply a small chamfer. Now let's do some cut at the end. So I'm going to draw a thin rectangle like this and push it deep. Then we give some bevel and adjust the radius. Then apply solidify, give it a small thickness, then cut it. So it's actually uneven, so we can simply mirror it to fix it. Maybe in future we can apply emission in this area. That's what gives it a more futuristic look. Now switching to the top view, I'm going to slice a few portions to separate the shape, so it won't look very default, you know what I mean? So just draw a random shape like this, then apply some bevel to the cut and slice it. Now we can apply a bevel modifier to highlight the separation. And as usual, we set the segments to 3 and reduce the size. And let's also, or maybe you can simply enable the harder normals from bevel. That's kind of performs similar to weather normal. And now let me check if I can do any detail. So yeah, the top looks very static right now. So I'm going to draw a cross line like this and make it straight, then cut it off. That's a lot more interest to the silhouette. We can do the same, so let me just select the cutter and then mirror it over. That's pretty good. Now we got some mess at the top, so let me just adjust the modifier, or maybe it's not because of the modifier stack, so, and sometimes it can because of the boolean, so let me just multiply, and maybe not this time. So I think it's required a manual mark sharp, so I'm going to select this edge and mark it to sharp, and this one, yeah, problem solved. Now I'm going to grab the cylinder and isolate. We grab this face and run a bevel. So it looks not sharp as fuck. Beautiful. Next, let's see what we can refine. Maybe we can do something here or not. Yeah, we missed this one, so mirror it, and yeah, it looks almost perfect. So this edge looks damn sharp, so let's round it off. Then this edge, we can make it smooth. So the more we refine, the better the design will be. And we got a tiny piece over here, so I almost forgot to mirror. Let's do it. And next, we can actually start refining this big piece. So let's run a bevel on this side, and also we run a bevel on this edge. Yeah, that looks more polished. Next, let's see. So I'm going to make a tiny detail. We can add a loop cut, bevel it very thin, and then extrude it inside. Now we do the same to the bottom piece. So I'm just adding a loop cut and pretending that I'm maintaining the same size and extrude it inside. Alright, it's not the same size, so let's keep it a more thin like this and do it one more. Yeah, that's not perfect, but it won't really matter, so it's not a big difference. Next, this bottom, we could make a small chamfer. Alright, let's spin around. This cylinder, we can chamfer the both side. That's it. Then roll this front. I'm going to make a small cut. Just draw a thin rectangle and push it in. And also apply some bevel. Then apply solidify. A lot of modifiers anyway, and cut it. Let's find out the cutter. Then we can mirror this to the other side. Next up, I'm going to add a thin frame to the top and bottom. So place the cursor somewhere here and add a cube. Hop into the side view and we can make this really thin, right about this size, and we scale it down. Let's position this to back and let's see. I'm going to place it even. Then we bring this forward, just here. Make sure it's not overriding, and then we make it short. Then move this up. Let's scale this on the wide to make it wide, and I'm positioning this to center. Now I feel like the door frame is too extended at the top, so we can cut it off so that the frame has enough space without overlap. Now let's bring this piece to back. Yeah, somewhere here. Now we can start designing the appearance. So let me drag from the bottom and move it straight and cut it. Then we apply mirror, and next I'm going to start from here. Just follow the same angle, then fill the shape and cut it. There we go. Now at the center, I'm making a rectangular cut, and we apply the bevel and cut it. Next, we make another cut to the bottom, just about the same size, maybe a bit small, and cut it. Now Alt Edge to unhide, and I'm going to select this edge, this cutter, and let's make a cross line like this. Also give it a thickness, then cut it. Then followed by, I'm making another one. So this kind of gives that mechanical vibe to the design. Now lastly, I'm making a straight cut just like this and finish off the pattern. Now let's make some echo detail on the sides. So I'm gonna make a cut, but it's not following the angle. So let me actually change to nearest edge and draw a rectangle on this line. Then we apply bevel and cut it. You can see how these cuts can enhance the appearance. Now we can do one over the side and then bevel it, then cut it. Now let's do one more, and I promise this is going to be the last. So let me actually, we need to set the cutter to local and then draw a box, then cut it. That's good. Let's mirror this piece to the bottom, and yeah, it's good. Alright, now we are in the final part of detailing. So let me finish it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this pipe and then duplicate it, then bring it here. Let's flip it on X, then we can remove the mirror, and now I'm going to move this up. So we have a nice spacing there. Now go to the vertex mode and let me enable the X-ray and grab all these vertices so we don't even need them anymore. Now I think we can mirror this pipe to the bottom for symmetry, but before that we need to move this up a little, and yeah, I think it's in a better position now. So let's apply the mirror. Oops, it's not working. We pick this one and mirror. So we got a good design right now. Let me see if it's ready for the next chapter. This side, we could do something here. So let's set a cube, then scale it. Make it tall and position to the right place. Now let's refine it. So I'm going to select this edge and pull it down. Then we grab these two and apply bevel. Is it scaled? Let's apply the scale and then make it smooth. Then we select this middle edge, or maybe before we can make the bevel to the other side as well. And then finally we can select this middle edge and apply some bevel about this big. Just increase the steps to make it like more curve and organic, and apply the auto smooth for the real magic. And now let's refine this bottom face. So first, then we give some rotation on the face, then make a chamfer. That will help us to prevent that flat boring look. You can see how well it's been placed. So let's mirror this over and also mirror this to the top. I'm picking this middle door as a target and mirror. This is the reason why I need meshing tool. It's really a gift for hard surface modeling. Alright, now here I noticed some sharp edges, so let me make a chamfer. Good boy. Now we fucking finished the modeling. We almost did the heavy lifting. The upcoming parts are going to be fun and more new. Let's see you there. Alright folks, now we are going to do some simple rigging. So I'm not going to use bones because that's high level. I'm just going to make a simple animation setup for the door. But it's fun, especially if you're learning for the first time. Let's see. First, we need to apply all the modifiers. It is really important. So select all and convert them to mesh, which is an instant way of applying everything at once. Next, I'm going to parent the object. So we don't want all the object move independently. So we need to control them with one object. So I'll pick all this object because everything is going to move in one direction. And also this cube. Then the cylinder. And I think it's done. So it is also important to separate the top and bottom piece because the top is going to up and the bottom is going down. So with everything is selected, I'm going to enable the X-ray and then box select the bottom object, then separate them. Now we got two different connections. I'm going to select all these top pieces and lastly select the top one and then parent them with keep transform. So by moving the top piece, everything will follow. Oh, it's actually moving with the bottom piece. So let's select these and go to the face mode and then separate them. Now let's see. Oh, it's still moving. So I think it's because of the parenting. So select them all and press Alt P and clear the parent. Yeah, that fixed the problem. Now we can move this independently. Let's do the same for the bottom. So select all and then parent with the main object. So now we got two different movement, up and down. Next, I want this to be controlled by an external controller. So I add an empty arrow and move this up. Bring it to the middle, then make it big and position it here. Now select this main object and parent to the empty. So now this will control the entire part. Let's do the same for the bottom. Place the cursor to the center and add another empty. Bring this down and flip the direction. Move it up, then make it bigger and position it correct. Now parent the object to this empty. So now we got two movements. This moving down and this moving up. Good. Next is the main connection. Actually, this is the first unlock. So select all the cylinders and we need to separate each one individually. So in face mode, enable the X-ray, then box select this one side and separate it. Do it for all four connections. Once finished, we simply, let me actually enable the cavity. Great. Now we set the cursor to origin and add a plane. Add empty. So select all these and lastly select the empty. Then assign the parent. So now when you rotate this on the Z, it's gonna look like it's releasing the lock for the top hydraulic. If you don't want the cylinder connection to move, you can simply separate the mesh and clear the parent. That way, when you rotate it, the cylinder only move, which kind of makes it even more realistic. Now you have to assign the same parent and child relationship to the remaining tree. So take your time and finish the job. once you finish that, you'll get a really nice animation when you rotate your empty. It feels like you actually figure out how to animate. Now let's start rigging the back. So I'm adding another empty arrow. Then we push it back and rotate it on the -90. Bring this closer. Now I'm going to select all these pieces, then this one and this inside. All it's going to move at once. Now let's parent this and see how it works. Yeah, pretty decent, but we need to fix the back cylinder because the lower one is actually very small. So I'm going to delete it and replace it with the one at the top. Now we can grab all these parts and select this inside cylinder. And finally, parent them to the empty. So now when you move this, it works like a real connection. You see how it moves? Good. So now we have a front connection. So it needs to unlock in order to move the back. So that's when the door can slide in. So place the cursor to the cylinder origin and add an empty. Now grab all these and then cylinder, and we assign the parent. Now when you rotate this, it's unlocked the back connection. So that way the back lock can be moved back, and you know what I'm saying? So this is the front lock, and once it's got unleashed, the back is going to move. Alright, now I'm going to rig the door. So center the cursor and add an empty arrow. Slide it left and rotate it 90 on X. Then make bigger for better control. Then yeah, we actually need to separate the door. So select them all and go to face mode. Enable the X-ray, then box select the left door and separate this one. Got it. Now select all these three pieces and join them. Also do the same for the right door. Let's bring the full model back. Now shift select this empty, and I think this one as well because it's also attached to the door. And finally select this empty, then the arrow, and assign the parent. So this is how it moves. By the way, it's actually moving the right part as well, so we need to separate them in order to not ruin our animation. So I'm going to clear the parent, and now when you move, it's clean. We can also add the rigging to the right side as well. So once everything is rigged, let me show you how things work. So first, this lock is released. Then the next one, or it's unlocked simultaneously, whatever. Then the top shield going to move up and the bottom goes down, or they both move at the same time. Then the front lock gets unlocked. I almost missed that. Then the back gets moved. And lastly, the door can open. So now we can add keyframe to every movement to make the animation simple. It's that simple. Alright folks, in this final chapter, I'm going to teach you how to do the sci-fi door animation with the rigging we created in the previous chapter. So if you're familiar with animation or is someone who never do animation before, this could be very easy to follow because yeah, literally anyone can do this animation if you just follow my guidance. So first what we need to do is to open a timeline at the bottom. So I'm gonna open a new tab from the bottom and we change this to timeline, and let me just expand it a bit more. So the first animation we are going to do is the side lock, because only this gets unlocked, every other parts can get moved. So this is the main one. So what we need to do is we need to animate this one first. So let me just enable this auto key and then press I to draw the keyframe. So this is the default position, and one thing that you need to worry about, which could be this connection. So because right now when I press RZ, you can see that the connection also moves with it, and in animation this could look silly and doesn't make sense. So what we need to do is simply, but I'm not going to do this, but if you are making this animation and if you want it to look professional, you really have to do this, because yeah, that's actually the way you need to do it. So in edit mode, I'm going to select this face and grab them all. So just select all these faces and then press P and choose selection. And then what we need to do is select this new one. Yeah, it's actually selected a few other parts, so we don't really want this to be selected. So I'm going to separate this with a knife tool. So just draw some line like this, and then select this entire face, these two, and press P and selection. So now we need to select this connection and the door, then press Ctrl J to join them. So that way, when we rotate this cylinder, it won't move. You can see that, but it looks a bit ugly. The reason could be, so you can clean this up by selecting this edge and you can fill them. So that way we don't see any kind of shit. So we select these, and we can fill the face. And if it feels like it's really weird, you can just cut this piece off. And I think we can just GY pull it like this, and then go to the side view and then press D to enable the box cutter, and we cut off this messy part and cut it. So that looks much better. And now we have to connect. Let me just select this hole and these two. You have to fill it, then select all this edges and press F to fill it. Yeah, that would be better. So now when you move this rotating part, it won't look like it's silly. It's moving the correct way. And you can even level this up with adding a cylinder over here, so that way it's kind of looks like it's rotating. But my point is, just if you're doing this animation, you can just don't care about that. But if you want to make it professional, you might have to worry about the connection and the movement. But anyway, let me just teach you how to do animation. So we set the keyframe, and then what you need to do is set the duration. So since this is going to be a short one, I want to set the duration to about like 5 or 7. Yeah, let's go with 6, and then press R, Z, and give it a rotation like this. So now it's get unlocked. And when you see the timeline, it's go from this, and then it's unleashed. So now you have to do the same to the other side. So select this and then go to the frame 1, and then I to draw the keyframe, then go to the step 6, and if you want the same amount of rotation as the one on the left, you can simply see the value, which is -8. So this could be the positive one, I guess, because it's in the different direction, and I mean the opposite position. So RZ rotated, and it's 10. So we can reduce this to something like 8. Yeah. So now when you play the animation, you can see that the connection gets unlocked. So once this parts get unlocked, we have to move the top and bottom. So the top and bottom shield. So set the keyframe to about 7 because the frame ended at 6. We go to 7, then press I to draw the keyframe, and then this could be something long. So 15. Set the frame to 15, then press GZ and move this up. And we have to do the same for the bottom. So select it. So go to the keyframe 7. And then I think it's 7. Yeah, let me just verify. Yeah, it's 7. Now press I to draw the keyframe. Go to the frame 15. And we are going to move this down. GC. Pull it down. Yep. Now let's play the animation. By the way, my scene could be a bit choppy. It's dropping the frame, but anyway, let's see. So you can see how it moves. Let me just show you this way. So the first side lock is unlocked and then the top goes up. Alright. The next could be this front lock because the front and the back is actually holding the door from coming out. So once the front is get unlocked, the back is moved back and then the door comes out. So it's in at the frame 15. So we go to the frame 16. Not for this. We select the side lock and go to 16. Then press I to draw the keyframe. This is going to be a short one, so I think we can go with 21. And then press RZ, small rotation like this. So it seems like it's get unlocked. And then we do the same for the other side. So select it, go to the frame 16. And I to draw. Then go to the 21. Make sure to remember the values. And then press RZ. Give it a small rotation like that. And once this gets unlocked, the back needs to move. So it's end at the 21. So set this to 22. And press I to draw the keyframe. Then go to frame 29 or 8. And then we can GX and move it back like this. So just make sure it's not blocking the door. So it's have a beautiful gap so that the door can comes out. And once it's get moved, we have to animate the door. So what we need to do is set the keyframe to about 30. So it's going to be 2-second pause after everything gets moved. And then we select this one and I to draw the keyframe, and I'm going to set the keyframe to 40. 10-second animation for the door, and Y, and move this like this. And we have to do the same for the other door. So select it, go to the keyframe 30. Wait, let me just verify if it's 30. Yeah. So go to the keyframe 30, press I to draw the keyframe, then go to the frame 40. And oops, something, yeah. GX, Y. Move this like this. And that's pretty much it. We did the animation. So let's play and see. So let's see how it looks. So I'm gonna play the animation. So the front lock is get unlocked, and then the top goes up. Good. And once it's done, the side is get unlocked. And once it get unlocked, the back moves to the backward, and then the door starts to come out. So that's the simple animation. And if you want this to get looped again and again, you can actually limit the duration. So for example, the whole animation ends at the frame 40. you could actually set the end frame to 50. So the reason for the 10-second gap is because after the entire animation is finished, there is a 10-second gap where the door and everything stay opened, and it kind of looks like people can see how it works, and then it's closed back. So after the 10 second, the loop going to be start. So that's how you can actually animate your door. And if you want the animation to be very smooth, you can simply select all and then also select everything in the keyframe, then press T to open this interpolation, then change the interpolation type to linear. So that would be quick and fast. Also, it's really clean. So that's all the simple animation. So you can now render this animation, then upload on your social media or anywhere you want. So if you have any question or doubts about this course, you can join my Discord server and then you can ask the question, and probably you will get the answer in just a few hours. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoy the course, and if you have anything to say, just leave your thoughts in the comment section. And yeah, I'm signing off. See you soon with an amazing video. Have a great day.